So you are in favor of high intensity interval training. So different types. People use weights for that. People use cycling or running. What do you do, or have you suggested? Do you suggest any particular form of hit training exercise, or just has to be that you have to get your heart rate high very quickly and do anything that can be beneficial?
So I wouldn't say I'm a fan of it for everybody. It's, if you're, well conditioned, yeah, definitely layer in some hit training. But, if you're coming straight from the couch, no, I don't recommend any hit training for weeks, maybe even months. Start slow, zone two training. You should not even be out of breath doing this type of activity. You got to build up that mitochondrial base first before you're going to push the peak super high. I'd rather people do resistance training and zone two training, get that in sync, and then layer on the hit training later.
So previously, and it's good that exercise muscle building is strength training is coming into the mix for the last couple of years or a decade or so. And in the past it was all about aerobic exercises. And why do you see there's a shift happening that you have to combine aerobic exercises with strength training and weight exercises? What's the change that's happening? What's the research that is actually pushing us towards this direction?
Well, my good friend Dr. Gabrielle Lyons, at the forefront of this, she has a concept of muscle-centric medicine. Your muscles are your organs of longevity. They're not just there just to move you around through time and space. 80% of your metabolism is going to be in your skeletal muscle. And if you age poorly and you become sarcopenic, you're going to have a very poor last few years of your life. If you fall and break your hip, you got 30% mortality in 1 year if you break your hip. So you have to think about your muscles now. You lose them as you age. It's just how fast are you going to lose them? And so it's a never ending battle. So you have to eat high quality dietary protein to have the amino acids to give the muscle so that you can lay down more muscle units, and you have to stimulate the muscles with progressive overload. So muscle centric medicine is really taking off in the past few years.
No, definitely. And Dr. Gabrielle Loyan, as well as I believe Dr. Peter Attia, they are strong advocates of weightlifting in a way and muscle training. And as you mentioned, that when you grow older, you don't have the muscle, you fall down, you break a hip, and breaking a hip or falls and fractures such as that definitely do cut down your life expectancy, and the outcomes are pretty horrible. And I think Dr. Peter here also talks about balance. I mean, weightlifting, everything is fine, but you need to work on your balance and make sure all your muscle groups that are related to your functioning, not just uh, extension and flexion of your joints, but a wide range of exercises that can help you prevent falls and keep you more independent. And possibly, I think this is where in the future this will be part of guidelines. That right now it's more about medication, do more activity, but I think this has
Correct.
to come into the mix. Every people talk about how much sleep you should be getting. Where do you stand on this?
I mean, if there's four pillars of health that most people want to talk about, nutrition, exercise, stress, sleep is the foundation. If you don't sleep well, you will not age well. If you don't sleep well, you're going to have more risk of high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, heart failure. you know and it's not all sleep apnea, though there's a large component to sleep disordered breathing and increased cardiovascular risk. So I'll simplify it for patients that your mitochondria, they're the organelles in your cells that make energy for you. They repair when you sleep. So if you don't sleep well, you don't repair your engines. Now you can put in premium gas all you want next day. Your engines aren't going to burn it very well if you're not sleeping well. Now, how much sleep do you need? It's going to vary, but most people need between 7.5 and 8 hours of sleep. Now, if you're an extremely fit, healthy individual, a little bit less might be okay for you. But if you're sicker, you're going to need more time to repair those engines, essentially.
No, definitely. And there was an aspect that if your sleep is not adequate, or your circadian rhythm is not is not, you have frequent fluctuations in your rhythm and you do night shifts perhaps. And I believe I've been guilty of such, working in the hospital, and you as well, having to stay up for your nights and cathing, cardiac cath in the cath lab at night, coming in for those STEMI alerts. How does this play if you have an irregular sleep schedule? How does that affect your cardiovascular risk, or does it matter a lot?
I mean, at this time, I have a perfect sleep schedule. I mean, my circadian rhythms are well dialed in. I have,
Lucky
the
you.
biohacker blue blockers on, because it's, past sunset and I don't want those blue photons of light hitting the back parts of my eyes. But no, definitely during my, residency in internal medicine, my cardiovascular fellowship, and the first few years of my practice, yeah, there's a lot of circadian disruption. And, that's always going to be present. That's partially part why I walked out of the hospital 4 years ago and I've not walked back in since. It's because I had to make sure that my circadian rhythms were dialed in so that I could age well, so I can keep taking care of patients and teaching them that. So it's, leading by example. So I don't mess with my circadian rhythms. I don't work in the middle of the night anymore by choice. And, there's going to be a time and place where people got to make that choice for them. I understand that doctors have to work in the middle of the night sometimes, but night shift working is a class 2 carcinogen by the World Health Organization. Night shift workers have more prostate cancer if they're men, more breast cancer if they're women. So it's your choice. You're trading your health for money, or you're trading it, for whatever else you're trading it for. So it's one of those things where it's like sleep is that critical that I think some people really probably should consider giving up their jobs sometimes.
Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you as a valuable viewer. And if you liked this segment, you can watch all of the different individual segments or the whole podcast to have a broader understanding on this topic. Just check the links in the description or what you see on the screen right now. I'm Dr. Umar Khan. Looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you.